I have this core memory from my childhood. I found this VHS tape with a title written in marker named Gran Turismo. After popping it into the VCR, it was strange. Instead of showing a movie or episode of a TV show, it instead showed this car racing around the track as the camera follows it the entire time. It wasn't all that interesting at first, but the more I watched, the more I became mesmerized. It wasn't until sometime later that I figured out this was a recording of my dad racing. A slice of history that he'd left behind. I still miss him, you know? Well, not that he's dead or anything. With the somber tone of the music, got this whole reminiscing mood going on. It just seemed like the right thing to say, you know? Anywho, now that the mood's ruined, this whole tangent was to say this memory resurfaced due to a certain show. One that first aired back in the 90s. I'm gonna start by being completely candid. I like Initial D because the 3D car models look like they're from the original PlayStation era. That's it. End of story. But if I were to continue, let's talk about our protagonist, Takumi Fujiwara, an 18-year-old high school student who, while looking quite listless and disconnected from the world, has a part-time job at a gas station while also doing deliveries for his dad's business. So while he spends a lot of time around cars, he doesn't have too much of an attachment toward them, seeing driving as just a means to an end or a way to help out his dad. He doesn't realize how good of a driver his father taught him to be. But things change when he and his, friend, Itsuki Takeuchi, both get invited by their coworker Koichiro Ikitani to go to a local street race meetup at Mount Akina, which Ikitani and his street race team, the Akina Speedstars, often race at. And while it's a mostly normal evening, things change when another street racing team shows up, the Red Suns, run by the Takahashi brothers, Ryosuke and Keisuke. The Akina Speedstars are challenged by the Red Suns, and are sorely defeated. So while the night ends on a low note for the locals, the Red Suns stick around doing time attacks on Mount Akina to try and set a record time, showing that they're the fastest in this area. And now that it's early morning, it's time for Takumi to do his tofu delivery run, which requires him to drive over Mount Akina to reach his deliveries on the other side. But this night, he meets Keisuke Takahashi on the road, and the rest is history. Initial D is split into 6 parts, going from first stage to final stage, but today we'll only be covering the first stage. And while there's a lot of things that I do like, let's cover a couple things that might turn you away. Starting with the, stock clips. Now, the more you see it, the more you get used to it, and it's also a 90s show, a time with more unique designs. I don't know, man. Combined with a rounded chin, some of these faces look almost unhuman. Granted, there are some scenes that look great, and each character looks unique and is easily recognized, but I wouldn't disagree if you said it was a bit too noticeable at times. Moving on, Initial D has a bit of a weird romance angle. Itsuki had a chance with the girl, but after being forced into a crash by a rival racing team, she rightfully got scared of the situation and stopped things there. A bit regretful, but understandable outcome. Ikitani, however, shits the bed by not showing up at a location to meet Mako, a girl who street races just like he does, all because she has a photo of Ryosuke Takahashi in her wallet, who was the one who inspired her to get into street racing, which triggers Ikitani's inferiority complex, because he thinks he'll never be able to race as good as Ryosuke. Yes, it started with a weird deal, where if you let her race your friend, she'll then give you her hoo-ha. But really, Ikitani, you screwed yourself. But then we have Natsuki Mogi, who while dating our protagonist Takumi, had a sugar daddy on the side the whole time. Make that make sense.
Initial D.
Now that we've covered the failed romances, let's get to the real reason we want to watch this show. That being, the cars. I'm going to start by being candid. I'm not a car guy. Car models, engine types, suspension settings, front-wheel drive, rear-wheel drive. It's not really that interesting to me. But when this technical jargon comes up, Initial D does quite well to explain it to the viewer, showing us how these cars are powerful and how their drivers are using them to their full advantage. And since all the races in this show are one-on-one, it's important to make both drivers feel competent and that both have at least a chance of winning. And the reason that Initial D is able to convey this information so well is due to the series' primary consultant, Keiichi Tsuchiya, a real-life street racer turned professional racer, who while giving advice and input for Initial D, also got to make several cameos during Initial D's run. And while some say Takumi was directly inspired by Keiichi, he didn't actually grow up in a tofu business. But he did almost lose his racing license because he continued to illegally street race while he was a professional racer. One heck of a life to be inspired by. Though the biggest make or break of this series would have to be the car scenes. I already said I was biased, but I will admit there are a couple scenes that look wonky, with this being particularly early 3D animation. But when two cars go in for a turn and the Eurobeat kicks in, you're in for a good time.